Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. Think about that for a second. Welcome to our final live streaming yoga and beer class for a Wednesday night. Don't worry, we're not going too far from you. We're still offering our Saturday ones, and we'll be uploading the live classes. So yes, but this is last time live on a Wednesday from my abode. I'm Seville, for those of you who haven't practiced with me before. And yeah, welcome. Looks like the sun is peeking out, so I really hope that a good portion of you have moved your practices outside. And I did see in the comment feed that there was a request to edit out all chair poses. I can give you a fair warning before the chair poses happens. That way, that's like the perfect time to just stop listening and looking altogether, and then it's like it never happened. But there's only 2 chair poses, so I think we can muscle through. But yes, welcome to your practice tonight. My intention for our practice tonight is to really listen. Listen to what our bodies need during our practice. We're at a point where a lot of us need to listen. Listen with our ears, but also listen with our hearts. And what better way to practice that, to then apply it to the real world than to do it on your yoga mat, especially in the comfort of your own home. So what that means for your practice tonight is that just truly listen to what your body is telling you. If your body is telling you, nope, this is not a great pose for me, then come out of the pose. Don't force it. Don't, deal with the pain, deal with the chair poses. If that's not what your body is needing or wanting, just honor the space that you've provided yourself and really be able to listen. That is my intention for our practice. And a heads up, we are going to be doing some heart openers. Heart openers can be so delightful and lovely, but if you are experiencing a lot of emotions, as I know most of us are, heart openers can also feel very intense, a lot of sensations. I know for me, sometimes it feels like a miniature heart attack. So just go into the heart openers with all sorts of love and care. That's definitely a time that you want to drop in and listen to what your body is needing or wanting. But with all that being said, let's get started on our backs. And as we get started here, if it feels okay on the low back and the rest of the body, maybe you lay nice and long. But if that's just not doing it, you can always bend the knees. And I'm going to ask that you bring the arms alongside the body and you turn the palms up toward the sky. And not only just turning the palms up toward the sky, but can you make it so that the thumbs and the pinkies are touching the earth? And can you feel your outer shoulders melt down toward the earth? So that might mean you have to wiggle around and shimmy the shoulder blades toward each other. And the eyes can be opened or closed. Taking note of how you're feeling tonight, how the breath is feeling in the body, how the body is feeling, how the mind is feeling. Just taking a quick inventory without any judgment. And as you begin to deepen the inhale and lengthen out the exhale, can you breathe through the belly all the way up to the collarbones, allowing the heart to open with each deep inhale. And begin to follow the breath in and out of the body. Allowing the mind to follow the breath in through the nose or the mouth, down the throat, across the collarbones and the heart, expanding the ribs and the belly up toward the sky. Then moving back up from the belly, through the ribs, through the heart, through the throat, and back out through the nose or the mouth. Staying here for just a couple more breaths. You find that the wheel inside the mind is still turning and going over things that have been learned, conversations that have been had. See if with each exhale you can just set those aside. Imagining that with the exhale, you're blowing them out of the brain, just setting them to the side of the mat. They'll be there to pick up once we're done. And with your next breath, let's reach the hands toward the back of the mat, getting nice and long in the body. Maybe a yawn or two escapes, and that's fine. We're taking a couple of those really deep, intentional breaths to create some space alongside the body, all the way up to the fingertips. And let's reach the hands up to the sky, and we'll hug the knees in toward the chest. Let's hug onto the left knee. We'll press the right foot up toward the sky. We'll point and flex that right foot. We'll start to press out through that right heel, getting the right leg nice and energized and active. With your next breath, begin to lower the leg down toward the earth, pressing the foot forward. Yogi's choice on how low the leg goes. And next breath sends the foot up toward the sky. One breath to lower. One breath to lift. Flowing through this 2 more times, following your breath. Foot comes up toward the sky. And let's hug both knees in for a moment. Maybe rocking a little side to side. And we'll hug the right knee in. Left foot presses up toward the sky. And point and flex that left foot. Give it some love. And start to press up and out through the heel. And one breath to lower. One breath to lift. 2 more times. I think that was technically 3 times. That's okay. And we'll hug the knees in toward the chest. And let's bring the arms out to the side. Cactus out the arms if that feels okay. And with your next exhale, we'll lower the knees toward the right. And next breath brings the knees back to the center and over to the other side and back to the center. And continue to follow your breath. Focusing on the core here. Cute little wake up moment for our core. And one more time on each side, or whatever you need to do to make life nice and even. We'll come back to the center. Let's hug the knees in toward the chest. And maybe begin to rock and roll up and down the spine. But we'll come to a comfortable seat, however that looks in your body. Maybe the legs are crossed. Maybe they're butterfly, maybe they're out in front of you, whatever works best. We'll bring the hands behind the hips and coming up onto the fingertips. So we're going to do these hands a couple times tonight. Shorthand for hands. Anyway, we're going to call these cupcake hands because it's as if you had a cute little cupcake underneath your hand with the perfect frosting and you don't want to smash it. So cupcake hands behind the hips. And on our next breath, let's press the heart up toward the sky. And next breath, we'll round the spine, kind of finding that like couch slouch. We're all guilty of it. It's a guilty pleasure. And then let's press the heart back up toward the sky. So kind of like a seated cat-cow with the hands behind us. And we'll continue to follow your breath. And one last time, we'll press the heart up toward the sky, keeping the openness across the collarbones. Let's begin to pull the belly in, and we'll reach the arms up toward the sky. Feeling the length on either side of the body. And let's come over hands and knees to table pose. Wrists are going to be underneath the shoulders, knees are going to be underneath the hips. And with your next inhale, we'll drop the belly, send the heart forward, coming into cow pose. Exhale, rounds the spine, tucks the chin, coming into cat pose. And we'll flow through this a couple times, following your breath. And let's start to find that happy middle space between cat and cow, where the heart is reaching forward like cow, but the belly is pulling in like cat. Finding our strong table back. Think like taster tray of all of the favorite beverages that you've been missing out on. And you're finally getting a whole taster tray of them. You don't want to spill it. So keeping that taster tray, let's send the right toes toward the back of the room. We'll keep the toes on the earth to begin with. Check back in with that strong table back. And make sure that your table is not decapitated. We tend to get really nosy about what's happening with our toes. So let's reach the crown of the head forward. So option to stay here, or you can begin to float those toes. Left hand can reach forward. And we'll bend that right knee, pressing the right sole of the foot up toward the sky. So feel free to stay here, or you can swing that left arm down and back. And my computer's talking to me. And I'm going to turn that off. I apologize. That's never happened before. So hopefully we weren't staying there for too long, and let's extend everything back out. And we'll come back to table pose. And we'll flow through cat-cow a couple times. And we'll find that strong table pose again. Find your favorite taster trays, or I guess just one. You just need one taster tray. And I'll send the left toes toward the back of the room. Option to stay here, or you can float the toes. Check back in with that strong table back. Right arm reaches forward. And you can bend that left knee, pressing the left sole of the foot up toward the sky. And we'll swing the right arm back. Maybe you find connection. Maybe your foot wants its personal space, and that's fine. And we'll send everything back out and down. Finding your table, flowing through cat-cow again. And we'll start to walk the hands toward the knees. We're going to come to standing on the knees. That's not on the knees. You can rest the hips back on the heels. But from this kneeling position, let's inhale the hands up toward the sky. And exhale, let's cactus out the arms. Finding a crunch action in the core to stack the shoulders above the hips, reaching the hands back up. And one more time. Inhale to find length. Exhale to open. Find that crunch action. Pull the belly in, stack the shoulders. We'll bring the hands back down onto the earth. Let's tuck the toes. Actually, before we do that, let's bring the big toes together, knees come apart, and let's sink back, finding our child's pose. Forehead is resting down on the mat. If the forehead doesn't touch the mat, you can make a cute little pillow with the hands. And if child's pose isn't your favorite pose tonight, you can always come to a comfortable seat. And this is my formal invitation to each and every one of you to come to this pose as often as you can, and as often as you need during this practice. With our next inhale, let's rise up, finding our table pose. We'll tuck the toes, reach the hips up and back, finding down dog. Feel free to pedal out the legs. Maybe you come up onto the toes. Just make your down dog a little wiggly for this first one. And with your next inhale, let's roll forward, finding plank. Exhale the hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale back. And if it makes sense in your body, right foot is going to reach up and back. If that doesn't make sense in your body, you can come to table. We're going to bring the right foot forward. So if it makes more sense in table, do that. If you're in down dog, right foot's going to step forward. And we'll bring the left knee down onto the earth, finding our low lunge. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward, and we'll rise up. Finding strength and stability in the legs. And let's reach the hands forward. We're going to take the right hand and sweep it down and back. Down and forward. One more time, down and back, And we'll hold it here. Feel free to stay here, or you can take the right hand and glide it along that back leg. Left hand reaches up toward the sky, and then can you take that right shoulder and begin to square it forward. And then can you start to find length in both sides of the body. So typically that right side is going to get kind of scrunched up, which is normal and natural when we're in a twist like this. But start to find some length there. And we'll bring the arms to that T shape again. And we'll reach the arms back up toward the sky. Hands come down onto the earth. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. And we're stepping back, downward facing dog. So we have the same option here. Left foot can go up and back, or you can move to table and bring the left foot forward. Either through table or through down dog. And right knee comes down, finding your low lunge. And let's rise up. Arms reach forward. Left arm sweeps down and back, down and forward. One more time, down and back. Feel free to stay here, or take the back hand, glide it along the back leg. Right hand reaches up toward the sky, and then take that left shoulder and start to move it forward and start to find length in the side bodies. And we'll find that revolve twist again, the T shape in the arms. Bring both arms up toward the sky. And hands come down onto the earth. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Again, stepping back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, we'll roll forward, finding plank. Dropping the knees, finding a modified plank. Shine the heart forward as you lower down. Untuck the toes, plant the tops of the feet into the earth. Nice strong legs. And shrug the shoulders up, back, and down. Finding just a little baby cobra. No weight in the hands. And imagine that your heart is propelling forward here. And we'll lower down. Pressing into the hands and the knees, moving through table and back to down dog. And from down dog, let's bend the knees, let's look in between the hands, and we'll tiptoe our way to the top of the mat, finding our forward fold. And with our inhale, let's glide the fingertips up the shins, finding our halfway lift, which is just the same as that strong table back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise up and reach up. Hands come to the heart. We're going to keep hands at the heart, and we're going to root through the left foot. And you're going to hover the right foot off of the earth, like an inch, like this. Just imagine that the right side of your mat just like became hot lava. You don't necessarily want to touch hot lava. So feel free to stay here, or hands come onto the hips. And you want to keep the hips as still as possible as you start to swing the leg just ever so slightly back and forth. Nothing too crazy. And hands on the hips, just it's your little check to make sure that the hips aren't getting too crazy or involved. And we'll send the right toes all the way to the back of the mat. Hot lava's gone, finding our crescent pose. And let's actively press out through that back leg as we root down through that front leg. Inhale, Hands to the sky. Taking a breath or two here to feel really strong and connected to the earth through the feet, but feeling really tall through the fingertips. Let's reach the hands forward. And we'll reach the left hand down and back. I greatly apologize. I don't know what is happening. Feel free to stay here, or left hand glides down the back leg, right hand reaches up toward the sky. And can you take that left shoulder and square it forward? Again, finding length in both sides of the body. Bring the arms back to that revolved twist. And both hands reach up to the sky. Hands come to the heart. We'll root through that front leg. And bring the right knee in toward the chest. So feel free to stay here, or you're going to take that right foot, that right heel, and move it back toward the right hip. And we're going to hang out here for a couple breaths. Again, finding the length on both sides of the body. The heart reaches up toward the sky. Breath is strong. And we'll bring the right knee back up. And let's set it down, finding number one of two chairs. So hands reach up to the sky. And I'm a big believer that chair is better, more enjoyed if you are dancing or if you just move with your breath. So maybe you're dancing around, enjoying life, or maybe with each inhale you come up slightly, and each exhale you sink down a little more. With your next exhale, you're going to root through the feet, stand up and reach up. Hands come to the heart. Rooting through the right foot, left side of the mat has become hot lava. So you're going to hover that left foot. Hands can come to the waist or to the hips. And start to find that little swing of the legs, or leg. Keeping everything else nice and still. And next time the leg comes back, hot lava's gone. Find our crescent pose. Again, rooting actively through that back leg, grounding through that front leg, reaching your arms up toward the sky. Taking a couple breaths here. Hands reach forward. Right hand sweeps down and back. Feel free to stay here. Or right hand glides along the back leg, left arm reaches up, and take the right shoulder and move it forward. Finding length in the side bodies, finding openness in the heart. Coming back to that revolved twist. Both arms reach up to the sky. Hands come to the heart. Doesn't have to be graceful. As you root through that front leg, find a moment of flight, and then left knee comes up. Feel free to stay here, or that left heel will move toward the left hip, and we'll breathe here. Again, hands can come to the heart, to the hips, to find that quality between the hip bones, the ones not hiking up. And we'll bring the left knee up. And let's sit it down into chair pose. Chair 2 of 2. So again, you have the option to dance through your chair pose. I can't hear the music, but I'm dancing along with you. Or you can bebop it as you breathe up and down. I don't know which one is the B and which one's the bop, but it's your practice. You can figure out which works for you. And next inhale, you're gonna root through the feet, reach up to the sky, and hands to the heart. Taking a couple breaths here to reconnect with your breath, reconnect with your intention. Maybe the eyes close. Let's blink the eyes open and reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're gonna rise up and reach up. Hands to the heart. We're gonna do that 2 more times. So we're gonna keep moving, but find that connection with our breath again. So inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale to the heart. I won't cue this next one. Just feel free to follow your own breath. Hold it with the hands at the heart. Inhale, let's reach. We'll add on this time. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna bend the knees, plant the hands, and we'll step the right foot way back. We're gonna plant the right foot on the earth, finding our warrior 1 legs. So actively pressing and rooting through that back leg, bending and rooting to the front leg. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward. Let's rise on up. And take a minute here to get situated. This can be a lot on the back knee, and if that's the case, come up onto the back toes, or whatever you need to do to find happiness in this pose. And keeping the right hand reaching up toward the sky, you're going to take the left hand and sweep it down just a little bit back. And then the left hand comes up. Right hand now sweeps down a little back. And then reaches up. And left hand. So essentially we're doing like this dance move, but in a very calm, controlled yoga way. And if anybody actually knows the name of that dance move, let me know. Let's reach the hands up toward the sky. Let's inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, we'll bend into that front knee. Hands come behind the back. You can either clasp the hands or interlink the thumbs. And we'll reach the heart up toward the sky as the fingers press down toward the earth. Feel free to stay here as you open the heart. And allow this to be a heart opener instead of a shoulder yanker backer. Yeah. So a heart opener. So feel free to stay here. Or you can begin to lean forward and then rise back up. So feel free, you can hold it, you can move, you can find a space in between each destinations that you want to hold. This is the time to listen to what your body needs. And I think that's the key word. And we'll come back up to warrior one. Hands will reach up to the sky. We'll come up onto that back toe. And we'll bring the hands down onto the earth. And it does not have to be graceful. Let's make our way back to downward facing dog. Feel free to stay here. Or you can flow through the vinyasa, which is that roll forward to plank. Knees up or down. Heart reaches forward. Lowering down. And then propelling the heart forward. And meeting back in downward facing dog. And from down dog, if it makes sense in the body, right foot up and back. Right foot steps forward. Planting that back foot, finding your warrior one legs. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward. And we're rising up. So feel free to stay here, or you can begin to find that slow and controlled dance move. You can get both arms involved at the same time. I actually may have Googled what this dance move is, but all I got was the floss. That's all it brought up for me. So, serious when I said, somebody tell me the name of that dance move. And one more time on each side, or whatever you need to do to feel equal on both sides. And we'll bring the hands to the heart. Let's straighten through that front leg. And we'll bend into that front knee. Reach the hands behind the back. Again, clasping the hands or interlocking the thumbs. And reaching the heart up toward the sky. And breathing. Folding forward if that makes sense. And rising up if that makes sense. And rise up. Hands reach up to the sky. Coming up onto that back toes. Hands come down onto the earth. Let's look forward and step forward. Finding our forward fold. We'll hang out here for a couple breaths. So maybe you hold on to opposite elbows. Maybe you hold on to the legs in some way. Maybe you sway a little side to side. Maybe you bounce it, bebop it. Then we'll release the hands down toward the earth. Inhale, let's find our strong halfway lift. Exhale, let's fold. Rooting through the feet, let's rise up and reach up. Hands come to the heart. So we'll root through the right foot. Left side of the mat has become hot lava again. So you're hovering the foot. If you liked this work of isolation, isolating the leg from the rest of the body, I invite you to do that. If you want to dance it out, but follow me. So from this cute little hover, we'll bring the left knee up toward the chest, and we'll bring the left foot back toward the left hip. Arms reach forward. And let's sweep the left arm down and back, grabbing onto the foot, either the outer or inner foot, whichever makes sense in your body. Take this left shoulder and start to square it forward. Feel free to stay here, or if you're jonesing to move a little deeper into this pose, you'll start actively pressing the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot to find this push and pull action. And maybe your dancer is super dancey. You're like coming in and out. If your balance isn't loving this, we have friends that are called balls that you can hold on to. I'm a firm believer that the pose dancer is not to be held in stillness, but that one should dance it. And try not to slingshot the foot and the hand away from each other as you release. Left knee comes up toward the chest, and let's step the left foot down, and a big shake out. Inhale to reach up to the sky, and hands to the heart. We're gonna root through the left foot, right side of the mat. It's hot lava. If you haven't played the game Hot Lava ever, I recommend trying it. Also, if last time you played it, you were a kid, I recommend trying it as an adult. Super fun. We are kind of playing Hot Lava right now. So again, you can stay here, work on that stability isolation work, or right knee comes up. And then right heel moves toward the right hip. Arms reach forward. Left arm sweeps down and back and finds the foot in some fashion, inner or outer foot. And again, maybe the foot wants to be left alone, and that's okay. We'll give it its personal space. And then finding equal length between both sides of the body, trying to reach that right shoulder forward. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you start to find that push and pull of the hand into the foot into the hand. Maybe you dance around. We'll stay here for another breath. Try not to slingshot everything. As you bring the right knee up toward the chest and foot comes down. Again, the big fancy shake it out. Inhale, let's reach up to the sky. Exhale, we're going to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. We are going to ultimately end up on our bellies. So if you are ready to get there, I invite you to practice Plopasana and just plop on down to your belly. If you want to move through the vinyasa one more time, you're welcome to do that. But we will all meet with belly down on the mat. Forehead can also be resting on the mat. And the hands are going to come right next to the ribs. We'll hang out here for a couple breaths, waiting for our vinyasa friends to join us. So you're going to untuck the toes, tops of the feet are grounded into the earth, activating the legs all the way up. So we're firing up the legs, starting from the toes. We're going to find our cupcake hands and keep them right next to your ribs. And we're going to shrug the shoulders up, back, and down, finding our little baby cobra with our cupcake hands. Make sure the legs haven't gotten sleepy. They're still nice and strong. Propel the heart forward. And let's lower down. With our cupcake hands, we're going to bring them to the outer edges of the mat. Shrugging the shoulders up, back, and down. Nice strong legs. Propel the heart forward, rising up. Depending on how the back is feeling, maybe you put some weight into your fingers. You can try that and be like, nope. And come right back down. You want to keep the heart propelling forward, no matter the height of your cute little cupcake cobra. And we'll lower down. If that felt great, feel free to stay there. Or you can bring your hands outside of your mat. Shoulders shrug up, back, and down. Nice strong legs, propelling the heart forward. And lowering down. We're going to bring the hands right below the forehead, making a cute little pillow. And take a couple breaths here to breathe deeply into the belly to release the low back. And if those heart openers were a bit on the sensational side for you, taking this time to reconnect with your breath, to get your little heart nice and chill. And we'll press the soles of the feet up toward the sky. And gently sway the legs side to side, nothing too crazy. We'll bring the legs back down onto the earth. Bring the hands next to the ribs, pressing into the hands and the knees. We'll press up, finding our table pose. And in our table pose, we'll flow through cat-cow a couple times, really leading from the heart. So when you come into cow, can you imagine, again, that your heart is propelling forward through the arms? And on your exhale, feeling the backside of the heart pressing up in between the shoulders. And flowing through cat-cow just one more time. And we'll start to walk the hands back toward the knees, standing on the knees or sitting back on the heels, whatever works best for you. And let's inhale the hands up toward the sky, finding the length in the spine, the heart reaches up. Exhale, let's cactus out the arms again. Find that crunch action to stack the shoulders over the hips. And one more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, heart presses up. And let's reach up. And hands come down onto the earth, however makes sense to you. Maybe you roll over the ankles. Maybe you swing the legs to the side. We're going to come on down. If you need like extra core things, like feel free to add in sit-ups and things like that. But we're just going to roll on down. And let's bring the heels in a little closer to the hips than where they typically are when we're laying on our backs with the knees bent. And feel the outer shoulder blades melt down toward the earth. We'll bring the arms to a 90-degree angle, fingertips pointed up toward the sky. Feel free to stay here and breathe across the collarbones, or you can begin to press through the soles of the feet and begin to rise up. And next breath will lower you down inch by inch. Allow the entire back to rest on the earth, with the heart still pressing and puffing up toward the sky. Feel free to stay here, or maybe one more time you press through the soles of the feet. And the hips lift and the heart presses up. And lowering down, taking your time. Releasing the arms down onto the earth, and again gently swaying the legs side to side. Coming back to center and pressing the right foot up toward the sky. And we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee. Feel free to stay here. Or you can hug the legs in toward the chest. I do apologize, everyone. You can hug the legs in toward the body. If you've hugged the legs in toward the body, let's bring the left foot down onto the earth, followed by the right foot. We'll press the left foot up toward the sky, crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Again, you have the option to stay here, or you can hug the legs in toward the chest. And right foot comes down onto the earth. Left foot presses up toward the sky and joins the right foot on the earth. And let's hug the knees in toward the chest. Bringing the arms into that cactus bowl shape, bowl post shape, or however it makes sense in the arms. And with your next exhale, let's lower the knees over to the left. And while you're here, begin to find that breath that comes all the way up to the heart and to the collarbones, creating that space along the heart. Coming back to the center. And next breath, we'll send the knees over to the other side. Coming back to the center. Taking these next few moments to move through any other pose or movement or shape that the body might be craving. And then begin to find your way to a final resting pose, Shavasana. Begin to deepen the breath. Taking a moment to allow your intention to settle within the breath, within the mind, within the body. And begin to invite movement back into the hands and the feet. Gently rocking the head side to side. And as you feel ready, pressing your way up, coming to a comfortable seat with the hands of the heart. Thank you for sharing your practice, energy, and spirit tonight. Thank you for taking the opportunity to practice listening. The light within me honors the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. And cheers. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me. I apologize about the technical difficulty. I assume that because the computer was talking to me in my AirPods, you guys heard it too. If not, then don't worry about it. Must have been an update or something. It's very odd. Anyway, thank you guys so much for taking this time for you and for our community. We will, like I said at the beginning of class, we are going to be moving to our live in-person classes, which is super exciting. Those will be in Salem. So make sure you check out all of our social medias in order to find out when and where and how to register for them. And we'll be with you Saturday morning for yoga and coffee and our jammies. Well, whoever's teaching probably won't be wearing their jammies. That's okay. But the information for donations is in the chat, as well as the information regarding our post-yoga cheers Zoom moment. So I look forward to chatting with you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week.